The war in the Middle East could soon result in a hit to the back pockets here at home as well. The Reserve Bank of Australia is warning the conflict overseas could lead to a higher interest rate and a spike in oil prices too, with the central bank now considering a rise as early as this month. For more, we're joined by Chief Economist at AMP Capital, Shane Oliver. Great to have you with us. So let's get stuck into this. What are the key areas for Aussies that we could see an increase in?
Well, obviously, petrol prices. We have seen a rise in oil prices. There was a further rise overnight, but that was pared back to a couple, $2 or $3 a barrel, which is not so extreme. And that was after the US offered to provide insurance and naval escorts for ships going through the Strait of Hormuz. But still, as we know, a lot of uncertainty around all of that. So higher petrol prices, higher airfares as jet fuel costs go up, potentially some flow onto food from higher fertiliser costs, but that comes down the track. And of course, there's a bit of a flow on to transport costs. But the main one is via fuel, because each $1 rise in world oil prices adds about a cent a litre at the bowser in Australia. The flip side, of course, is that this could result in weaker global economic activity, and it could also dampen consumer spending in Australia as people have less money to spend as they devote more to paying fuel costs. So they're the main impacts. And of course, the Reserve Bank is worried that rise in petrol prices flowing on to inflation, and lots of talk about that, of course, will lead to higher inflation expectations, push the inflation rate above 4% perhaps, and then, of course, make it even harder to get it back down again. Yeah,
it was already hard to get into that 2 to 3% bracket. I'm just looking at the Australian dollar. In 2025, it was as low as 64 cents, 66 cents in 2024 when we had a problem with fuel prices as well. Could the Aussie dollar over 70 cents be enough of a buffer to save us a little bit at the bowser?
Look, it certainly helps. There's no doubt about that, but it's not enough to stop some flow through. And in fact, you could already argue that some service stations might already be starting to raise their prices. Just in response to the rise in global oil prices that occurred up until Friday before the conflict even began. So there's still going to be some flow on, but the Aussie dollar certainly helps. And a rising Aussie dollar more generally is a dampener on import prices. So that sort of dulls the flow on to other parts of inflation in Australia. So the Aussie dollar, the strong Aussie dollar, is certainly to be welcomed here.
As always, and everything regarding this, it's complex. Appreciate your time. Here's Nat.